Hello, welcome back to my channel. So a while ago, I passed a pretty exciting milestone here on my channel. I passed 300 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing, and I feel really great about it. Thank you to all of you who have stopped by here and subscribed to my little channel. It means a lot. And I put out a video asking for questions for a possible 300 subscriber Q&A video. I did one for 200 subscribers, and I thought it was really fun. And I got some great questions put underneath that video in the comment section, so I thought that I would go ahead and do my 300 subscriber Q&A video answering your questions. So I have them here on my iPad, so I'm going to be reading off of these. I have read through them a couple times, sort of formulated some of my thoughts so that I'm not just rambling. I can get more straight to the point, but I think I will be able to fit them all into one video. I'm not answering these necessarily in order that they were posted on my question request video. I just sort of ported them all over into Google Docs, so it may not be the original order, but it will be all of them. Starting off here with the first question from Koala Kara Cookie. Do you have reader friends in your personal life that you will recommend books to one another, or are you the only major reader in your friend group? I am the only major reader in my friend group, and that is why I love Booktube so much. You guys are my reader friends, and it's fantastic. The next question is from Jess, at Jess Book Girl TV. She says, I have a few questions. 1, is anyone in your family a huge reader? 2, what do your friends and family think of your YouTube channel? Are they supportive of it? 3, what author got you into reading? And 4, what is some upcoming content you plan on doing for your channel? Congratulations on 300 subscribers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jess. All right, so I'll break this down a little bit. First question, is anyone in your family a huge reader? The rest of the members of my family do read. I have 2 sisters who both read, and then my parents both read. But I am definitely the biggest reader of my family, but they do read as well. Let's see, the other part of that was, what do your friends and family think of your YouTube channel? Are they supportive of it? Yes, my friends and family love my YouTube channel. They're very supportive of it. They were very instrumental in me starting it as well. And so they've been right along beside me the entire time. What author got you into reading? A lot of different authors got me into reading. There is a children's book author named Avi, and he writes a lot of historical fiction novels, sort of short. They're somewhat formulaic, but they were definitely instrumental in my sort of beginning nascent stages of reading, as well as an author named Trenton Lee Stewart, who has a series, The Mysterious Benedict Society. I think it actually got turned into a Netflix original series recently, but the original book series I read when I was, I think, 11 or 12, and those were some of the first books that really got me excited about reading as well. Along with Tolkien, The Hobbit was one of the first books that I remember being excited about reading when I wasn't reading. It was the first time that I experienced sort of that feeling of once you put the book down, wanting to sit back down and start reading it again. Let me see here. The next question is from Joshua Brown, who says, yes, a Q&A would be awesome. I'm glad. I'm a new subscriber. Do you have any degrees, and what is your full-time job? Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate that. So currently I do not have any degrees. And as far as work, I have a part-time job. I work for my family business. We have a small manufacturing company, and I work a couple days a week there. And I absolutely love it. The next question is from Mike Howard, a new sub here. Thanks so much. The first video I saw was your Kindle review. Your channel looks outstanding for all readers and book lovers. Thank you so much. What is your favorite reading genre? Do you read fiction and nonfiction? Are you a lifelong reader? Who are your favorite authors? Finally, are there any upcoming new releases that you are highly anticipating? Hope that's not too many questions. Not too many questions at all, Mike. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let's see, the first part of the question is, what is your favorite reading genre? I really don't have a specific favorite reading genre. basically, I love almost all genres except for horror. I'm not a big fan of horror, so I won't really read anything in the horror genre. But honestly, everything else I view as fair game. I definitely read more classics than other genres. I have started branching out into science fiction and fantasy. I haven't done a lot in those two genres, but I am wanting to expand my reading horizons when it comes to fiction, especially. And then let me see here. Do you read fiction and nonfiction? I do. I love both fiction and nonfiction. I read probably more nonfiction still than fiction, but I'm trying to bring more fiction into my reading diet. As far as favorite authors, I have a lot of favorite authors for both fiction and nonfiction. For fiction, I really love Russian literature. Some of my favorites within Russian literature are Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, and Chekhov. For sort of classics in general as well, I really love John Steinbeck, Thomas Hardy, Virginia Woolf, George Eliot, Kafka. And then a couple of more contemporary British authors. I really love Ian McEwan and Julian Barnes. And then for nonfiction, Robert K. Massey, David McCullough, Anne Applebaum, Helen Rappaport are some of my current favorite nonfiction writers. But honestly, I always sort of hate claiming a set list of favorite authors because I'm finding new authors all of the time that I really love. And so that list is basically always growing, and I really could never just pick one single author just because I feel every author has something special to offer to us. Every book that they write is slightly different, and so I can never really narrow it down. But those are some of the sort of longest lasting favorites that I have had. Let me see here. I think I missed one part of this question. Oh yes, are there any upcoming new releases that I am highly anticipating? Honestly, I do a terrible job with keeping up with new releases, and it's something that I am trying to get a lot better at. I really want to get into book reviewing, and so for that, obviously, I need to be right on top of the new release pile. And so that's something that I'm trying to fix this year, because honestly, I have been trying to catch up so much because I came to reading a little late, that I'm trying to catch up with all of the old books that have already been published, and so I really haven't dived into any new releases yet. I missed one part of that question. Am I a lifelong reader? I hope to be. I started reading seriously about 4 or 5 years ago, and it certainly has been something that has changed my life and something that I have really molded my life around to be able to read. And so it's a priority that I am fairly certain will stay with me. The next question is from Sterling Reeds, who says, congratulations. My question is, what was the best book you read last year that would make your top 5 list for this year? And that's a great question. I decided that I was going to go with East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I read it for the first time last year, was absolutely blown away by it. It was one of my best reads of last year, and then I decided to reread it this year. I think I did it either in March or in April of this year, and I loved it even more on the second read. I just found so much more depth to it, so much more brevity to it, and so far it has been a top fiction read again for this year. Of course, there's still plenty of time for that to change, but as of right now, it would absolutely make my top 5 list for this year. The next question comes from Steve Donahue, who says, congratulations. My question is, who is your favorite booktuber? Steve stares angrily at the screen. So I feel that if I answer this wrong, I might get eaten alive here on BookTube, because Steve has the power to make or break you. And of course, Steve, you're one of my favorite booktubers. But I can never have a favorite on BookTube. You guys are... Every channel on BookTube is fantastic and wonderful and brings something special. I can never actually choose a favorite. Don't put me in this position, Steve. The next question comes from Natasha Gomez, who says, yay, congrats. Thank you. I recently reread Fahrenheit 451 and loved it. That is a fantastic book. So I would like to know, in a case scenario where you have to memorize, and basically turn into a book in order for it to survive, which one would you be? I reread this question I don't know how many times when I was trying to figure out my answer for it, because it is a fantastic question. And Fahrenheit 451 is such a great book. And so I really had to think, if I could only sort of embody one book, what would it be? Because there's an endless amount. And so I decided to go with a kind of a strange one. I would sort of try to memorize Don Quixote by Cervantes, just because I feel like if you're going to be one book for the rest of your life, if you only have access to that one book, you want a book that has a little bit of everything in it. And so I was trying to think, what's a book that I love that is incredibly important to literature, classically important, but also has humor, has drama, has great characters, has great dialogue, has an interesting story. And for me, I kept just coming back to Don Quixote. And of course, it's sort of the original modern novel in a lot of senses. And so it's incredibly historically important to the world of literature. And it is just such a fantastic book as well. It's a fantastic story. The characters are hilarious. The dialogues are fantastic. The events that take place in it are absolutely hysterical, and it still holds up today. And so that is absolutely what I would have to go with. And it's really long, so it's great if you're stuck with one book. You have lots of material. The next question is from Oak1. I just subbed yesterday as well to your Kindle video. I'm number 292. Loving my Paperwhite so far. That is fantastic to hear. I'm so glad. It's such a great device. My question is, have you thought about creating some sort of book club for your channel? I think it would be a fun way to engage with your growing audience. And second question, why aren't you on social media? So the first part of that question, have I thought about creating a book club? I actually have. I've been trying to think of some ways that I could engage more with you guys, and I thought doing a book club or read along or something like that might actually be really interesting. And I would love to know sort of what the opinion on that would be. So if you would be interested in any form of a read along or any sort of a Discord book club or something like that, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, because that's certainly something that I would be up for. If there are enough people interested in that to make it a plausible thing for my channel, I would totally be interested in that in the future. And then his second question, why aren't you on social media? And honestly, it's such a big topic that I probably couldn't cover it all in just answering a question. I would probably need a separate video for that. But really, it just boils down to, I just don't really feel that it adds positively to my life. I see a lot more negatives to it than anything beneficial. And so I've just decided to just not participate in it. I still use YouTube here, obviously, and GoodReads. Some people consider GoodReads a social media. Some people don't really consider it a social media. But as far as Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, all those other platforms, I just have chosen to not participate in them. The next question is from Yazi Mahagadam, and I hope I am pronouncing your last name correctly. Congrats, Micah. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. My question, what's your favorite quote of all time? And this is one that I was trying to think a lot too, because honestly, I don't do a lot with quotes. I have a lot of passages from books that I've read that I really love, that stick with me. But as far as sort of singular quotes go, I really don't have any that I would consider my favorite. I have different quotes sort of in parts of passages of books, but for pulling them for being standalone, I really don't have any that would be favorites. And I know that so many people do, and so I sort of feel bad that I don't have a favorite quote that I take with me. But just they've never really been appealing to me outside of the context that they're delivered in through the book. So I hope that made sense. The last question here is from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Wonderful, Micah. Congrats. Thank you so much. And my question Who are some authors that you've read all of their work, or that you would like to read all of their work? This will go back to a previous answer, but Anton Chekhov, all of his short stories, I really want to read all of them. And it's something like 500 some odd short stories that he published during his lifetime. And they're not all available in translation. I think it's somewhere around 200 that are available with an English translation. But I've been working through this year on trying to read all of the available short stories. And I started a series a while back at the beginning of my channel where I was reading all of the Chekhov short stories and talking about them, and I sort of faded out of that and stopped doing it. And I was reminded of it the other day when I was reading these questions, getting ready for this video, that I think I want to pick that back up again. The book that I have is a portable library edition of Chekhov, and so it's not a complete works. It's just a few selected stories, and so I was working my way through that. And then the website Gutenberg Library has a bunch of Chekhov stories, and so I was thinking I was going to switch to doing it that way to read the ones that weren't in my physical copy that I have, because I would love to be able to read all of Chekhov's short stories at some point. I think that would be really fun, and they're just so enjoyable to read, and they don't take very long at all. And so that is the final question for my 300 subscriber Q&A. Thank you so much to all of you for sending in such great questions. I absolutely love doing these Q&A videos. I think they are super fun. I love hearing your questions, and I'm trying my best to answer them in a way that makes sense. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.